pay-to-win babies are finally here, and the channel is Soggy cereal. Like this. Oh my god, man, what we are gonna about to see.
You're at the
Seems
playground
very
with your
interesting.
10-year-old child who inherited all the perfect imperfections of their parents, and they want to show you how good they got at passing the monkey bars until, wham! Suddenly, a tall, blonde 10-year-old boy with blue eyes and a vague resemblance of Henry Cavill swings
Oh
by
my
them with
god.
ease. To defeat it, you and your child move on to the climbing wall, where they
Oh
provide
my
with flaunt their
god.
climbing skills they trained over the past few months until...
So, we gonna talk about genetic modified babies? Wow, that's gonna be good.
They get shoved aside by yet another blonde 10-year-old with blue eyes and a vague resemblance of Henry Cavill. Huh, must be twins, you mumble to yourself. When you feel someone pull on your jacket, you glance over your shoulder and realize it's another 10-year-old blonde boy with blue
Oh
eyes
my
and a vague
god.
resemblance of Henry Cavill, saying,
You don't belong.
"Are you losing your mind?"
But in fact, no, because there is the part, and this is the part that the woman that doesn't want to accept, that a baby it's not made only of male genetics, you know? It also has her genetics. And this is where the problem lies, because they think that they are so much awesome, amazing, and perfect, but in fact, they are not. And they will ruin the parts of the genetics of the baby. No matter if like they choose like the most like terrified modified terrifying modified like sperm ever created by humanity, you know? It still like has 50% of hers.
Mind? You're now surrounded by blonde 10-year-old Henry Cavill lookalikes, all chanting,
You don't belong. You don't belong.
"Is this
Oh
real,
my
baby?
god.
You're just dreaming about a bunch of
It's a
10-year-old
terrible
girls, and
movie.
You're actually being the creepy one here. But you're not. This is real. You just happen to find yourself inside the rabbit hole of a world with shady companies, illegal human experiments,
So they are elves.
investigations, and so much more. You happen to find yourself in our world. The
Compare
terrifying
your
world
aim
of
room.
designer babies.
I mean, like, divvy up how much money goes to each of them. These are like big questions. What?
Height is 80% genetics. You saw that? Oh my god, man. Designer babies.
Genetics. What can it mean? The ability to perfect the physical and mental characteristics of every unborn child.
The world's first genetically edited babies.
The world's first genetically edited babies. First births of genetically altered humans.
But what is
It really sounds like real bad when it says genetic edited babies. Oh my god, man.
a designer baby, you ask? Are you like those children forced by their parents to partake in those weird and creepy contests where little kids are judged on their beauty by a bunch of grown-ups? Like Honey Boo Boo? No. See, what you're thinking of are child beauty pages. And I'd rather scratch my eyes out than make a video on that. Designer babies, or genetically modified babies, are babies specifically formed from an embryo.
What? Chain of reaction. I would never need this as the superior genes of my wife's boyfriend would be enough. What the hell?
That has been genetically
my
modified
God.
or selected to have specific traits such as the absence of a genetic disease. That way you can reduce cancer risks, blood disorders, heart conditions. And that's great. Why wouldn't we want to get rid of diseases millions of people suffer from every year? Well, the problem is that this is just the first half of the definition, while the other half mentions genetic modification to force the presence of desired characteristics like eye color, hair color, height, intelligence, the facial structure like that of Henry Cavill. And suddenly you realize that designer babies might just be yet another stepping stone on our way to dystopian hell. Although usually they say that
Yeah, it also will create like a social chaos. Like, for example, the first babies, the first people that reach like the age of an adult, of a teenager, that is genetically modified. At first, they might not be spotted very easy because will just be very few. But when they start to be mass produced, people will spot them easily because they just look all like very the same. They all have all like superior qualities. They all will be like very high height, you know. Oh my god, I said something wrong. Okay, they are very tall. They are like, you know, they will be way more smart. They will be way more stronger and all of that stuff. So people will spot them easily because they will stand out from the rest of society very easy and quickly. And people will start to have like problems with these people, you know. After all, they were not perfect just because like God made them like that, but because they were made in a lab. It's different, you know? People already envy people that are lucky to have all those qualities. Imagine like you producing them in a lab. Oh my god, that's gonna be so freaking... Oh my god, this will make a lot of problems. But until we have a huge amount of people like that in society, and when that happens, we will have the opposite. People that are not like that, like them, will be like taken away from society. They will like not be chosen for, you know, jobs. They will not be, you know, oh my god, this is so freaking dystopian. This is crazy, man. Oh, holy shit.
That the way to hell is paved with good intentions, and I'm pretty sure the Silicon Valley demons pushing this only care about paving theirs with increased shareholder value. See, this rabbit hole started a few weeks ago when I stumbled upon this advertisement in the New York subway. IQ is 50%
Hello,
genetic.
Alastor
Height is
Amon.
80% genetic. Nucleus IVF+. Pick your best baby at pickyourbaby.com. Now at first, I thought this to be a parody to advertise a new season of Black Mirror. I mean, pickyourbaby.com? What's next? A school report card when I can pick the eye color, hair color, and personality traits of my child?
Light module. Wait, are you saying I can't get my genetically modified cat girl? Good luck doing that. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but be ready to the consequences. Every action has consequences, and of course, society will make sure that you repent your decisions of doing that. Because I mean, society doesn't give a shit about what man wants, right? So that's the reason that I know 100% that society will make sure that will shame you to death and exclude you entirely for having a cat girl of yours. I'm not saying that I'm a guest or anything. I'm just saying that how things are.
Yes, apparently.
With advances in genetic testing, families can not only screen for the likelihood of disease, but also pick embryos based on their expected height and IQ.
See, pickyourbaby.com leads you to what appears to be a subscription service for pregnancy.
Yeah, and that's a good thing here,
IVF+.
Zaya.
Now, past year, I've been thinking a lot about what direction the world's currently going in, if I'd even want to bring children into a society that seems to be crumbling around us. And if you would have told me a year ago that in 2025 we were going to turn
Brian sings, basically, right? If they turn the matriarchy, I mean, it's not if they turn the matriarchy like I mean, I'm not sure of what you mean, but I think that you mentioned it as if we were not in a matriarchy, but we already are in a matriarchy, and people are being told that as if they weren't, as if they were in a equal society. Like when everyone looks around, I think everyone can point out pretty quickly and easily that we don't live in a patriarchal society. We live in a matriarchal society. We live in matriarchy. So I'm not saying, I don't understand in that, what sense you said that, Brian. I mean, we are eating the matriarchy. I mean, maybe you mentioned in the points that the cat girls that we're talking about, they will substitute the actual matriarch of a woman and create a new matriarch or something. Maybe Wes tried to do that. I don't know. Wes tried to mention that. The fox girl will have none of your cat girl nonsense. Fox girls are just better, okay? We are just better. We are superior. That's it. It's when they try to make mutations that affect personalities that we should be worried. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Which is why we need strong women at top who struggled and knows which man has this strong backhand without using it again.
Pregnancy
So what about the
into a
hubbies?
subscription service? I would have killed myself. Meet IVF Plus by Nucleus Genomics. The new way to bring your baby home. You dream about who your child
Oh
will
my
be,
god,
their
looks like
life,
even he's
their health,
sponsored.
their happiness.
I know
Now
it's
you can
that
see your
one.
future
Looks
child's
like-
health, traits, and potential before pregnancy even begins. So apparently Nucleus IVF
Oh
Plus
my
is a service
god.
that privatizes the entire process of IVF, medical
Before pregnancy even begins. That hits hard, man. That hits so hard.
procedure whereby an egg is fertilized by sperm outside the body, even more than it already is. Because why look at people with a desire to become parents and have to resort to IVF as humans when instead you can see them as walking bags of money? And at the core of this service is the option to scan your fertilized eggs once they've grown into embryos for a plethora of traits. I love how Nucleus Genomics is trying to market IVF Plus around the improved health it could give your future
Oh my
child.
god,
And they
man. Oh my
clearly don't
god.
give a shit. They come up with this hypothetical story.
You know, it's something so serious and dystopian, but the way this guy's saying here is just so much fun. And we could... How I can be serious with this video with this guy making so many
You
jokes?
have a family doing IVF, but cancer runs in their family. And you don't want to give your child cancer, do ya?
Do ya? Do ya?
What's wrong with you? Well, with Nucleus IVF Plus, you can scan and pick the embryo with the lowest risk of cancer, which sounds great. But it's pretty hard to take them seriously when right after they show you a first example of an embryo scan, where 4 out of 6 traits chosen to advertise a subscription service are anything but diseases. Hi. You want to protect your kid
Oh
from
my
the
God,
horrible
man.
condition of having common brown eyes? Why have them suffer red hair disease? You want your kid to have a soul, right? How about IQ? You don't want to bring a little
my
dumbass
God,
in this
man.
world. Just call 555, there is no God and society is doomed, and get Nucleus IVF
Wow,
Plus
so cheap!
now.
Wow, so cheap.
Cured terrible diseases, you know. Nobody gives a shit about that. Oh, wait, we're still rolling. Apparently,
Oh my God,
you can like prevent cancer or whatever. I don't know. Also, you can order a 7-foot giant. These report cards
Oh my god, there's that as well.
clearly prioritize superficial traits such as eye color, hair color, height, IQ, sex. Cause that's a great idea. In a world with continuous patterns of discrimination. So maybe that's how Elon Musk got almost all of his kids to be born as boys. And they're not even trying to hide it. I mean, this is the first example they show to users. Then these are more expensive examples on their website. Oh, cool. This one can be ordered based on risk for autism. Can't wait to tell my friends with autism that they're less valuable to society. Breast cancer? Boring. I want my child to be a 6'5" blue-eyed trust fund baby. Like a TikTok audio.
Oh my god, man.
On this chart, used for marketing purposes, they highlight only appearance traits while also showing how they could reduce risk of ADHD or anxiety. Which, coming from a guy with often paralyzing anxiety and mental health struggles whose girlfriend has been diagnosed with severe ADHD, fuck you. I don't think people realize how much human creativity
Yeah,
and
I
progress
have
was introduced
very
into
strong
this world
ADHD.
because of these
It's a pain.
imperfections. You try to edit out ADHD and you lose the chaotic genius of Jim Carrey or Robin Williams, the passion of Ryan Gosling, the hyperfocus that gave us Greta Gerwig's movies, or Einstein's theoretical physics. One of my favorite actors, Emma Stone, has repeatedly said her anxiety was the fuel for her acting. Do I occasionally wish I
But he's saying sorry, your wife exploded with unexpected. Oh my god.
had experienced anxiety less often? Sure, but I'm also aware that it's an imperfection that makes me human, and without
Squirrel, where is Squirrel?
Without it, I might have never even challenged myself to do YouTube. But they call this optimizing humanity, and I would agree if what they focused on were actual hereditary diseases and serious afflictions. Instead, they're just standardizing us. And it's not like you could make the argument that, well, since now everyone will have access to give their children what is seen as optimal conventional beauty and intelligence, we'll enter a world of social equality. Because this service is so expensive that it'll be most easily exploited by the already rich and powerful to ensure their power only increases throughout their now even more privileged offspring, while everyone else will have to go into debt or depend on winning the genetic lottery. And these companies know that, which is why most of them are offering these services exclusively to wealthy couples, and those who aren't are already abusing the chokehold they have over the average household. For example, a company called Parasite is
What
asking
the hell?
$50,000 for their embryo screening service and is already using that price as leverage to get vulnerable middle-income clients to accept discounts in exchange for sharing the private data of all of their future children.
Learn what life might be like for the 11 embryos they've created in 3 rounds of IVF. Parasite charges $50,000 for this report, but gave the Fritzes half off for agreeing to share information about their future kids. But they're doing this because Victoria has type 1 diabetes and is afraid of giving it to her kids.
See, we'll reduce the chance for you to pass on your crippling diabetes, and then
Oh
you
my god.
Sell your child's soul to the algorithm.
It's like I said, it's very cool and all. Women will choose which sperm will be put inside her, but what about their half? What about our half? What about it? What about our genetics? We're so worried about you having a partner that is 2 meters tall and like has the 6 package and you know all that thing and blue eyes and blah 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 blah. But we are not looking at ourselves. So this case, they will need to implant a embryo like that. It's already a fecunded, like egg with a sperm already, which means like it will take like a sperm and an egg from 2 other people. From the man or from the woman, and put aside a third person that is this woman. So it will not have, literally, it's what I understood, okay? So it will literally not have any genetics of hers. She will just like get pregnant and give birth to that kid, but the egg is from another woman and the sperm is from another man. So that's really crazy. It's almost like if you were totally adopt a kid, but you're just adopting and giving birth to it, you know?
Sounds like a fair deal to me. A year ago, Heliospec Genomics was exposed for asking tens of thousands of dollars to screen for what they call naughty traits. What are you scanning for? The chance your child starts an OnlyFans? Traits that everybody wants, such as IQ, sex, height, penis size. And Heliospec CEO Michael Christensen
Oh my
proudly
god,
said he
of course
envisioned
you
a
would
time
talk about
when
it.
lab-grown eggs would allow couples to create embryos on an industrial scale, 1,000 or even 1,000,000, from which then an elite selection could be hand-picked. You know, like a tier list factory. But with human life. He even speculated that in the future they might scan for personality types, including providing scores for what he calls the dark triad traits, such as Machiavellianism,
Oh my
narcissism,
God.
and psychopathy. To prevent them, of course. Rich people are famously known for
There's a way to avoid people like being born narcissists. Just take away all the female ones. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking, okay? I'm
their
joking.
stance against narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. They wouldn't pass it to their children to ensure an iron fist that could continue their family's fortune to grow, because that would be unethical.
Fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy.
We're doomed. Of course, when contacted for comment, the company basically said, "What are you
Half of the
crazy?
female ones should
We
do.
would never do any of that." It's only our CEO who believes in that crap. Oh wait, what's that? Heliospect and Herocyte are both the same company? They just chose to go by a different name after
No,
that
I
expose
didn't
last
mean
year,
that.
and somehow that worked? We're so doomed. Now it seems
Look, Chain of Reaction. I might be a dictator, but I'm not a genocider, okay? I'm just a dictator.
Nucleus Genomics is trying to be a bit more secretive about their pricing and their ultimate goals with IVF Plus, but for just $20, I can call with them. I just need one more thing. Oh, honey! How'd you like to join me into acting like two rich US millionaires who want to create the evil Uber child to get more information out of this weird company?
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, so as you can see, we felt pretty awkward. One, because the employees seemed pretty disinterested in us, probably because we didn't look like young US millionaires, but instead like a broke European couple trying to put on their best American accents. But also, I felt kinda guilty filming this employee without consent, so instead of showing
Oh
the
my
entire
God,
call,
man.
I'll show you the insider information
Hey, it's fine. I don't need to show him. We just wanna listen what he's gonna talk and all blah blah blah.
they shared with some audio clips in between. Which, first of all, pricing is insane. IVF Plus is $10,000 a month for 4 months? But this does include counseling, DNA tests, advanced embryo screening for rare diseases, and genetic optimization before impregnation, as well as the IVF procedure itself. But there is a cheaper option of only $10,000 for just 1 month. This of course comes without many of the privilege perks, which they made abundantly clear by constantly reminding us we should really go with the more expensive IVF Plus package.
The other option is Nucleus IVF Plus. For the IVF Plus, I would generally recommend the IVF Plus.
We also got an insider look at a more in-depth genetic
Yeah,
embryo overview.
yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
my
much clear
God,
already.
This was
Pre-
worse than I
it's pretty much
expected.
clear.
Firstly, all the traits at the top were purely appearance related. I mean, they had to scroll way down before finally getting to the diseases. And even at things like left-handedness.
And Shadow Claw 87. Anytime somebody says empathy is a weakness or a problem, that's basically wearing their trauma on their sleeve. They haven't healed from or learned the right lessons from. Yeah. It's not like I don't think like it's a weakness or a problem. Empathy, it's part of it's a human trait like many others. Empathy, though, nowadays, is using as a weapon to manipulate the masses through strong emotions. And I mean, we women are more empathetic than men, and they know that. That's why governments and billionaires use women's empathy to control us, and with us control men, because men wouldn't be controlled directly by governments, but they are controlled by women, you know? So with this, they control society. That's it. And the main reason, one of the main reasons, in my opinion, is it's how much empathetic women can be when messing with the right emotions and, you know, manipulating that. They can use that on their favor like they have been using for this entire time.
Acne, BMI, it's basically eugenics at this point. I will say that there was legitimately interesting information as well, you know, cancers, heart disease, but then it again got muddied by things like ADHD, autism, anxiety, and IQ stats. We also asked about the accuracy of these results, which they admitted, while some are more accurate, stats like IQ being less accurate, since that's more controversial to screen for, thus they had less data to train their algorithm on.
IQ, for example, is a little harder, partially because historically, people, it's been a little more controversial.
So they're aware of how
The guy isn't interested in them at all. You can clearly tell that. The guy doesn't give a fuck about them, about this couple. You know, he doesn't care. It's like he already knows that they are not gonna pay for this.
controversial this is. But a little bit of ethical concerns ain't gonna stop them. I also asked if they provided any actual gene editing services, which was followed by a long talk about ethics and legal jargon I assumed was drilled in them by a PR team. And then we did a little bit of trolling.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, how about now?
You're muted, I think.
Yeah, you might be muted.
How about now?
It's on our side.
What can I say? I'm a little bit of a menace sometimes. So that was interesting, but I wasn't satisfied with some of their answers, and the little part in the back of my mind still itched. The part that just couldn't believe this was the worst Silicon Valley could come up with. That they would only screen embryos instead of actually editing the genes because of some ethical.
Come on, we all knew that this was coming, and for a very long time already. I've seen news about this, about they wanting to do this stuff like for 5 years ago, so I already saw that on TV here, on mainstream media, like around 5 years ago, so we already were seeing this on the TV, that they were planning to in future manipulate embryos and etc. to make people be born or not with some like qualities or not. I have been listening for this for at least 5 years already. So it actually took quite a while for this to happen. Of course, I'm not saying that this is good or anything. Like I will. My opinion is very more simple, and I bet many of you guys can guess that already. I have more of a mix of two opinions. First is my opinion from my religion. They shouldn't be played as gods in that regards, even though it's always for, it's a good cause, we are eliminating diseases, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, we shouldn't be playing God like at this level. This is my opinion, okay? One thing is you have like cure to diseases, and other thing is you manipulate life itself. For me, it's like, it's a huge thing. But with that aside, now with this part aside, I also have this very, you guys may be aware of it, that I'm very like libertarian. And so I also have this side of let people do what they want to do, you know? But I'm also in favor. This is the part that is never following, that let people do, but they have to face the consequences about the things that they choose for their lives. And this is the thing. Our society doesn't have consequences for bad actions anymore, for bad choices, you know. This is the problem with this, you know. This is the problem with this.
Concerns or legal boundaries. I mean, this is a place where companies like Facebook are based, where AI companies are deciding to build data centers, destroying entire towns, all for their own benefit. Where people like Peter Thiel.
So, can I just go now?
Huh? Yeah, sure.
Kettimer 97, what do you think about genetically modifying plants? What about selective breeding? I'm against it, but I cannot choose, you know? I know I consume a lot of this in my daily life already, but there is nothing I can do about it. I just have to consume. Or eat, or I will need to plant myself my own, you know? And even so, I wonder if I start to want to plant my own seeds, you know, and have my own foods from the ground, which I know nothing about, so I would need to learn that and all of that stuff and blah, blah, blah. From where I would be getting those seeds, huh? Probably I would be getting genetically modified seeds again, so I would just be planting the same as I consume again. So I don't know. Okay, I'm against, but there is nothing I can do about it, you know? Because it's not even because they are manipulating the plants. It's not even because of that, but because there are actual problems with this manipulation to actually our health itself, you know, that people seem to don't talk about that much.
Where people like Peter Thiel pull strings behind the scenes to overthrow democracy and clearly doesn't give a shit about the human race.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation.
Also, fun fact, apparently he's a huge fan of designer babies, which is why Peter Thiel was one of Nucleus Genomics' first investors. You know, because he so deeply cares about the human race.
Oh my
Should
god.
the human race survive,
And guess what? My itch was right. Because for every morally dubious but still law-abiding company like Nucleus Genomics, there's another one who takes it one step further. Preventive, Bootstrap Bio, Manhattan Genomics, all companies with ties to Peter Thiel, by the way, wanting to look further than genomic screening and instead want to edit an embryo's genes directly right before impregnation. Which is illegal in 75 countries, by the way, including technically the US, Canada, most of Europe, China, not just because of ethical concerns, but because most scientists say that human technology simply isn't advanced enough to do this right now. The human genome is 3 billion letters long, so CRISPR, a way used to edit this, can sometimes get confused when it's supposed to find one specific sequence to cut, and instead might cut a similar looking sequence on a different chromosome. You know, you might accidentally delete a tumor suppressor.
Even if this is true, I don't give it 5 years for this be passed already. This part that he's saying right now.
Gene while
And the reason is pretty much simple AI. That's all.
trying to edit height. So, sure, you successfully made your baby tall enough to enter the NBA, but you also gave them leukemia by age 5, so TikTok better start monetizing their basketball career the second they leave the womb. Or when you inject CRISPR into an embryo, you wanted to edit every cell, but right now the technology often only edits some cells, which might result in the edited and unedited cells attacking each other, turning you in what is called a mosaic baby. Imagine trying to dye a white shirt red, but it ends up coming out tie-dyed red and white, and now the red dye turns out to be acid, which is now eating the shirt. And also, the shirt is a human being. In 2018, a scientist in China, He Yang-Kui, I hope I didn't butcher his name, illegally used CRISPR to try make 2 babies, Lulu and Nana, immune to HIV. Now, he argues this was done out of selfless nobility, to prevent their father from passing on his HIV to them. And they say chivalry is dead. But not only was this completely unnecessary because of a routine IVF procedure called sperm washing, which prevents HIV transmission with
I might be crazy, but if I remember, at least what I learned in school is that the virus, they adapt to their host, you know. So they can mutate many times. So how they actually can say that this embryo, this person is genetically protected from this specific type of sickness, if this sickness can just mutate it to something else, like easily.
near 100% success rate. But they later also found out that the genetic modifications most likely didn't even make them immune, turned them into mosaic babies, and by tampering with the CCR5 gene, crucial for HIV immunity, but also other functions, He Yang-Kui might have inadvertently made them significantly more likely to die from the common flu. But these aren't hindrances to these billionaires, they're kinks to be hammered out over generations, just bugs to patch. And also literal bugs, because they see common people as nothing more than cockroaches to be experimented on. They don't give a shit that this is banned in half the world.
Oh my
they
God.
see it as an opportunity to take a trip on company funds to a country that won't jail them for this, while also using their billions of dollars to lobby their own governments into eventually legalizing it. For example, Preventative, co-funded by Sam Altman, by the way,
Yep,
is
is
looking
exactly
to
what
conduct their
happens.
research in the
Is
United
exactly
Arab
like that.
Emirates, where this is all legal. Which means that if they're quick enough with their grotesque and humane experiments, they might be just in time to go to allegedly slave-built Mr. Beast land next door. Thanks, Sam. The world's been doing great since your last
Oh my
innovation.
God, man,
Why don't
oh
you
my
just take a little
God.
break from innovating for the rest of your life. And even if this technology would already be perfected to a T, would you even want to live in a society able to genetically design every single aspect of a human being? A society
You know, always when I look, and this is not from now already, it has quite some time. Always when I look to Mr. Beast's face, like, I really cannot see a human being there. You know? And that's not from now. I'm saying like from, I think like almost always, like for a long time that since I know Mr. Beast, you know, I don't know. It's like he's a machine. It's like a robot of the media or whatever. It doesn't really feel human. It seems something very much artificial for me. Everything he does, everything he is, everything he produces is too much artificial. Way more actually than a video produced by Skybros.
Society that shapes the next generation to their own preference, where parents would have to choose between going into crippling debt for their children before they're even born, or have them be genetically disadvantaged compared to the maximally optimized offspring of people like Elon Musk. And he's breeding a whole army of kids, where genetically modified children have to bear the pressure to perform since their parents paid such a hefty price for their existence alone. Actually, doesn't this sound like the perfect plot for a dystopian sci-fi movie? Oh yeah, that's because it is! Cloud Atlas, Brave New World, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, apparently. And my personal favorite, 1997's Gattaca, where in a distant future, the dream of personal achievement and individual autonomy is fully replaced by a ruling class of gene-edited elites called valids, who take up every desired role in society, with what's left them.
Oh my god. It's like I said, they always knew all this stuff was coming since ages ago. It isn't possible that this is all just their imagination, you know? It's impossible. There's no way this is all imagination. I just can't believe this. It's too much clear that it was all planned since all of this time. I don't know how and why they have all this technology for so long. Of course, there's a lot of conspirationists or conspiracy theorists. I don't know how to mention that, how to spell it. Okay, there's a lot of things to the why they know this so soon. People say aliens and many other insane stuff, but the fact is that they do knew since a long time ago already all of this stuff. This is so much clear. I think everyone can be aware of this. Yeah, anyone can perceive this.
Them being given to the genetically inferior natural-born invalids. And no matter how much you study or how long you train, the only thing that matters on your resume or in your dating life is the genetic code in your blood. So basically, they just made discrimination into an official science, unlike us. See, we're still working on setting up the curriculum for that. And today, that not so far away future seems ever more present. Because what most would see as dystopian technology with horrors beyond human comprehension, well, there are a bunch of not-so-human billionaires who see these nightmares not as cautionary tales, but more like, opportunities on how to make more money by making everyone else's life worse. Because they have to ruin everything. They have to destroy everything for everyone but themselves if it means that they can tighten their grip on society even by just a smidge. Can you tell I'm still angry over the fact that rich people ruin TED Talks? So before this all becomes a reality, can we just grab our pitchforks and our torches and our gear?
I have a confession to make. I used it to watch TED Talks many years ago, okay? I think I was like, what? 15? 14? I don't know. I use it to watch TED Talks, okay? I'm sorry. It's a dark past of mine. It is already gone, okay? If it helps, it didn't last that long enough.
Teens and just billionaires so they can live.
Oh, very nice way of ending a video.
Oligarchy that
yeah, very
nobody
nice.
wants.
We are done? Yes, it's just 1 second to the video ends. Yeah. Soggy Cero, I liked his channel. I will subscribe. Yeah, very nice video, in fact. Let me read some of you guys' comments about this. Also implement Gattaca, Empress Mizuki will be whipping us, whipping, I don't know, who's peasant chat. Snark Monkey, what I responded to in the first place was your statement that symmetry implied that nature would magically change to fight against humans using generic engineering. It would not. It is not a magical integrated entity or whatever. That is why I say that it's not. You're making no sense, and a lot of your words seemed alright to Randall. I mean, you're clearly talking with someone in the chat. I mean, I can only imagine that. Oh, it's with Brian, it seems. You're having a discussion. Okay. Oh my god. Zero survivors hitting sound. I was watching also, but preferred watching people directly. The word is doomed. If this happens worldwide, then it's normalized. Yeah. Yeah, Frosty. I mean, the world is already doomed, so we are not lost that much, to be honest. I liked some TED Talks. As I got older, I realized some of the talks are full of crap. Yes, like, in fact, within time. The more time it passes, it seems the more crap they become. Oh, nowadays it seems to be only crap there. Some are good though. Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, for the incredible support to my work here on YouTube, and especially my 5-Tail Fox tier member, Brian, and all my 3-Tail Fox tier members, One Wolf, Fenny Sylvy, Heath Rowell, Zalost, Shirley Not-Serious, Zaela Zhezzaia, Tayashi, SuccubusBait, Mr. and your Eaton, Max 10R, and Nugguccino. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to everyone that have been supporting me on Ko-Fi, Kick, and to all of my YouTube members. You can support this channel life and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon, link is in the description below. And that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ja, mata ne!